Hello neighbor, Alicia Dolan here at Crafting in My Corner. It is a snow day over here and I am gonna work on my paper pumpkin for January. So I just thought that while I was working on it, I would share with you the process. There's a lot going on over here. The dog is barking upstairs and the kids are managing her, so hopefully you can hear me okay and it won't get too loud. If it does, let me know and I can sign off and sign back on again later. Hopefully. Sometimes later doesn't work out. Let me turn the camera around and we will get started with this project. I'm glad you could join me today on this snowy day. What could be better than crafting, right? Well, besides, I guess for people who like to play in the snow, play in the snow. Okay, let's see. I am gonna turn my camera around. And I've been reorganizing my room today, so hopefully I can find all my supplies. I don't know, because I haven't been doing a good job of reorganizing. I've just been shoving things to the side in the hopes that they'll organize themselves, I guess. All right, so this month, the January paper pumpkin is Kisses and Hugs, and you can also get these little mini treat boxes. I'm really excited to get these. I think they're really cute, but I haven't ordered them yet. So sometimes things like this will run out before you can get them. So if you are looking to get those, I would order them soon. And you can find these if you search in Stampin' Up! Products, like the Shop Now page. I know this one is really cute. I have a couple paper pumpkins that I haven't finished yet that I still need to put together, but I'm really excited about this one, so I'm doing this one first. Okay, so these are all the things that come in your paper pumpkin, plus this little package that has glue dots and Stampin' Dimensionals. But I have some of these that are already open. As long as I can find them, I'm going to use those. How are you doing today, Kim? Are you enjoying this snow day? I know you don't go out a whole lot, but hopefully someone's coming to shovel your driveway for you and your sidewalk. So we've got these really cute adhesive back sequins in this month's paper pumpkin. There are these super pretty envelopes, and I don't know if you can, I think you can see how shiny these are. They are really pretty. And we have cards. There are 8 cards, so there's 2 different kinds. There's this one and this one. I think they're really pretty. And I have seen people posting alternatives where you can use these pieces different ways to put other cards together, and I think those are fabulous too. But for right now, I just want to put together, I'm just going to be simple today, and I'm just going to put these together and I'm going to get it done. Sometimes I like to just take my paper pumpkin and finish it because it feels nice to have something done. Okay, we also got some little vellum die cut hearts. There are hearts and arrows die cuts. There are these little die cuts that kind of remind me of stamps. I think those are cute. There are shiny gold heart die cuts. And we got a gray granite Stampin' Spot. and this really cute stamp set. And I was searching Pinterest this morning while I was on the couch. I know that I could have been doing something much more productive, but I really got inspired by all the really great Valentine cards that were on there. And I think I'm going to be able to use this stamp set for a lot more than just this paper pumpkin. Because it doesn't have to be just Valentine. We can do love cards too, right? Because everyone needs to know they're loved. It's important. All right, so here is I'm going to get out my Stamparatus, and I even put my directions where I could find them today. Fantastic. So on the front of your directions, it always gives you a good picture of what you're going to be doing. And then when you open it up, inside there are directions for actually 3, wait, 1, 2, I don't know, it looks like 3 different cards. Oh, there's actually 1. No, there's just 2. All right, so I'm sorry, you guys. Sometimes I did not open this ahead of time, and sometimes it takes me a minute to put together what the instructions are telling me. So our first step here, we need to do some stamping. So on our little heart die cuts, we are going to stamp the word friend. So what I am going to do is use my Stamparatus and I like to stamp on this side of my Stamparatus, kind of a little bit farther away from the hinge. I just find it gives a nicer image for me. And I'm not sure why that is. I just find, like, sometimes there are little things that help me that aren't necessarily important things, or they don't work for everybody, or maybe they're just in my head. I don't know, but I find that's the best spot for me to stamp. And I just tried to open that up and I didn't do a very good job. So I like to, when I open up these little ink spots, yeah, the hinge does get in the way sometimes. I feel like it's not quite as flat as I want it to be. Good morning, Tina. Okay, so when I get one of these little Stampin' Spots, I like to take my scissors, and that is not it, and I try to trim right along that seam. I'm struggling with it today. Ooh, and now I made a mess. Okay, so if you make a mess, it's all right. That's what I'm doing today. I'm making messes. I do have my coffee here with me, and I'm trying to focus, but evidently it hasn't worked out yet. It's probably because I can hear the dogs skittering around upstairs and all the things going on. All right, so what I'm going to do is just put this back together real quick. Usually what I do is cut the one side and then I let it open like this, kind of like its label is a hinge, and I find that works good for me. It's obviously not working as well today as it usually would, but that's all right. We are going to stamp anyways, and we're going to have a good time. So I am looking for this word right here, friend. And I'm just going to pull that off. And let me see how many right, I can line it up. I'm actually going to move this over here, and I'm going to line up my die cuts in this corner. And put my magnet down. Let's see, that looks a little crooked to me, so I'm gonna, there, that's better. All right, let's see how many. Okay, so what we're making is this card right here, if you can see that, that says friend. So it's gonna look like this. It's actually a 3-part card. So we need 4 of those little words that say friend. I'm gonna close my plate, pick up my stamp, and I'm gonna ink it up with my gray granite ink. I'm just gonna tap it on there. And let's see if that's enough. I think that looks good. Now, so that I can save a little bit of time, I am just going to move that die cut to the side. I'm going to grab the next sheet and line it up where the previous one was, right here in the corner. Put my magnet on, ink up my stamp again. That did not work for me this time. Okay, ink up my stamp. And then I can stamp my next heart. I can put that off to the side, and I need 4 of these. So I'm just going to line it up again, the next sheet. Ink up my stamp. Stamp my die cut. Put it to the side. And I need 1 more. And that works out good because I actually have 2 sheets left. Oh, I like paper pumpkin leftovers. I'm trying to read. I missed a little bit of that. For the project you were, oh, okay. So last time it was the card with the hedgehogs, right, Tina? I think that's the card I did last. All right, I'm going to do 1 more of these. And I was really excited this morning when I logged on to my email program and I saw that 4 people had subscribed to get my emails. I was really excited about that. And not only that, but those 4 people all opened the email up. So if you haven't subscribed to my email yet, you will get, when you do, you'll get a welcome email. It's from Alicia Dolan, Crafting in My Corner. And inside there will be a link to the PDF that tells you how to make that Happy Hedgehog card. Okay, I've got 4 of those die cuts stamped. And next, we are, let's see, I'm on the wrong page again somehow. I'm gonna stamp this little for you on these. Right. Yep. Okay. So that is our next let's see. And this time, I think I'm just gonna grab a little block so that I can stamp them along, because I don't think they would line up exactly the way I want to. I used a friend stamp. Okay. What I really like about this paper pumpkin set, this is one of my favorite things, is when we get a stamp that says "for you." I love stamps that are that have words that you can use for more than just one situation. And "for you" stamps I can always use. So if you're putting together a gift or anything, I feel like a "for you" stamp, you can't go wrong with that. Where sometimes, in some cases, you don't want to send it like "I love you," or you could use a "for you" card for a sympathy card, for a thank you card, for any kind of card, where other stamps are a little more specific, and sometimes I don't want that. All right, so I'm gonna stamp, let's see, I need to stamp 4 of these, so I'll have 1 left over. All right, and I'm just gonna, let's see, I don't think you can see really good where I'm lining that up, so I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit and make that, hopefully that's gonna give a little better. It's a little closer. So then I can line it up and stamp right there. I can ink it up again. I really like that little hedgehog card too. They were so easy to put together. It was really nice. All right, so we can line this up. Let's see, we need 2 more. I think today is a perfect day for stamping anyways, when it's cold outside. I'm not a huge fan of the cold or the snow, especially because I have vasculitis, and so it's extremely hard for me to stay warm in the cold. So when it's cold out, I tend to look for things I can do indoors. All right, let me scoot this over to the side a little bit, because I'm a little bit worried it's going to be too crooked. All right, so we'll stamp this one, and then I'm gonna leave that last one for an extra so that I can use it for something else. All right, let me clean off that stamp real quick. And I really like the option of using my Stamparatus and a clear block together, or just, I'm not sure why, just because I do. Sometimes it's easier to use the plate, and sometimes it's easier to use the Stamparatus. Oh, your ink pads are getting low. I really like the Stamparatus. It's one of my favorite tools. And I don't know if you're looking to place an order, but if you do order now, you qualify for every $50, you can get a celebration item. I'm sure you already know that, Tina, but just a reminder, that's only through the end of February. So, and because you're already on my team, you get your discount and you get to choose your celebration items. All right, so we're gonna pop these out. I guess I should have looked at the directions again to see if I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself when I'm doing paper pumpkin, and then one time I put my cards together completely wrong. They turned out okay, you could still open them, but they didn't open the way that they were supposed to open. Oh yeah, the ink refills work really good. I always have a refill for my Memento ink, my Versamark, and my, what's the other one? Stays On. I always try to keep refills for those. Let's see. I got a little bit distracted. Okay, so that is all we stamp on this one, and now we can put these cards together. Okay, so here's, I'm just gonna punch these out, and these are really easy to punch. Okay, so Stays On, I just learned the difference between them. I guess I kind of knew in my head, but I hadn't realized. Stays On ink is for, it's really permanent. The Memento ink is easier to wash off, and I saw, this is off the subject, but I saw a super cute card this morning that somebody had inked up their embossing folder and then run it through the Stampin' Cut emboss machine. So I'm definitely gonna make a video about that, and I'll show you guys that later. But the Stays On is a permanent ink. So if you want to stamp on, say, acetate or vellum, you can stamp on ceramic or anything, and it's permanent. Like, it won't, once it dries, it won't smudge or move around at all. Now, that being said, it's not very easy to clean off, but I don't use it very often because of that very reason. It's harder to clean, and it's not very often I'm stamping on something that has to be permanent either. So, okay, here are our little die cuts, and we're gonna put this first card together. And the first one are these pink. So in your kit, I gotta move this up a little higher, you guys. I feel like it's too close and I don't have room for my hands. That was terrible. I hope you're still there. Sorry, and I hope I didn't make you seasick. That was a little crazy. That was a lot crazy. All right, now I think I have a little more space. Okay, so here are our pieces, and here's our card. And what I meant by 3-part is it's got these 2 parts and then a third. So it's like a 3-part heart all together. So on the very front one, we are gonna put this little friend heart. So I'm gonna turn it over. And these are not the dimensionals that came in my kit. These are my extras from last time. So we're going to put 3 little dimensionals on there. And these are really easy to use. You can just peel off the little backs. Now I will tell you that the little backs are very staticky, and so you will find them when you're done crafting, stuck to your clothes and all over the carpet. And even though my craft room is downstairs, I find them upstairs all the time in the hallway. And the dog tries to eat them because they're little pieces of paper, you know. Okay, and this, let's see. Okay, and this we need we need to punch out these little gray arrows. So I'm gonna get that out. And while I'm at it, I'm just gonna punch out these other ones so that we can put them all together. And I'll just put together one of each kind at first, in case you guys don't want to stay for the long haul. Got the refills. I know, I like to have refills. And adhesive. Yes, you definitely have to have lots of that. I feel it's one thing to be messy, but if you run out of adhesive in the middle of a project, that's something you can't always fix right away. So if you have to order more, you have to wait. And the way shipping is right now, you can't depend on it either. So there are some things you want to keep a good stock of. Envelopes, adhesive, I would say Stampin' Dimensionals, because I don't like to run out of those either. Okay, now on this one, we are going to turn that over and put some little Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. See what I meant about them being a little staticky? Sometimes they try to get where they're not supposed to. All right, and I'm gonna put mine like this. You could really put your arrow any way that it fits. And then we're gonna take our tiny stamp. It looks like a stamp to me, so I'm just gonna call it that, like a postage stamp. And I'm gonna put the dimensionals on the top and on the bottom, because I don't really want them to smush that arrow down. Okay. And I'm gonna put that right over the center. Let's see if that's right over the middle. And then we can open it up one more. And for this last one, we are gonna take one, well, let's see. Let me take one of these ones that we already used, not that it matters. And I am gonna punch out one of these hearts. And we are just gonna glue this one down. I knew I'd have trouble finding something today using our sticky dots. Now, see, you get enough sticky dots in the paper pumpkin that you're gonna have extras left over, because these are from several different kits. And I'm sure I have another one even that's already been a little bit used somewhere. If I can find it real quick, I'll just use that. But probably I can't find it really quick. So let me show you. You could use these sticky dots to put these on, but you could also use your liquid adhesive. So the way I do that is I almost always use this pen tip end of the liquid adhesive. I almost never use the other end. So what I'm going to do is put a really thin line around the edge, just like I do with any other shape, and then a squiggle through the middle. And you want to keep your lines really small and thin with this glue. It's very sticky and it will get all over your fingers and make the rest of your project really hard to do if you put too much on. So you don't want too much. But it's a really inexpensive glue as well. You can use it for lots of things. It sticks really well. And one of my favorite things about it is it doesn't dry the second you put it on. So you have just a little time. Say I didn't get my heart right in the center, I could scoot it around a little bit and get it right in the right spot. Yeah, the tiny glue dots sometimes can be really tricky to work with. Usually when I use those, I use my take your pick tool, inking some embossing. Yes, that it really is cool to ink those embossing folders. So there is our, uh-oh, what did I do wrong that it doesn't close? I know it had to close before, right? No, it was open. All right, there we go. So there is our card, and then all we have left is to add some of these little sequins. So I'm gonna put 3 here on the front. I'm kind of following the directions pretty much, just like the picture for this first one. And I might do something different on the other ones, but usually for the first one, I like to follow the picture, and then if I like it that way, then I'll make the rest of them the same. But if I find there are little things I want to be different, like maybe I didn't want my sequins crooked like I just put them. They should be straight across, but I think they'll be all right. And then on the back, we can put some little sequins too. Like this. Here. And today I'm just picking them off with my fingers, but I do use my take your pick tool a lot for things like sequins or glue dots. Let me show you what I'm talking about, the take your pick tool. So this is a take your pick tool. This end has it can either be a spatula or it can be one of these little pointy piercing tools. Then the other end is, it's like that little sticky stuff that you used to ball up and stick posters on your wall with. So it'll stick to, once you get them unstuck from the sheet that they're on, that will pick up sequins or tiny gems or anything, and you can stick them on really easy with that. Then it also comes with, I think it comes with this. I'll have to double check and see. But this is another thing that you can get to go with it. This is a little embossing tool. Like there's a smaller end and a bigger end. I don't use this one as much. That's why it's in my little bucket to the side. But if you happen to have the, I can't think, the scoring board, then you would find a greater use for that little embossing tool. I'll have to look up some other uses for that because I'm not sure what they are. So then I'll have to look those up. Okay, I'm gonna set these to the side. I will finish them in a little bit, but I want to start on the next card so that I can show you at least one of each before we in our time together. Okay, so this is the next card, and I think this one is really pretty too. I really like the colors. I'm not a huge gold fan, I can tell you that, but I really like it together with the vanilla and with the Flirty Flamingo, it's called. And I'm not a super Flirty Flamingo fan, but I really like it for this Valentine kit. Okay, I'm gonna open it up and see what we've got. All right, so the next one, we need these pink hearts. We need, well, our stamp sets right here. And we need some more of these white hearts. Okay. So first we are gonna stamp on the pink. And we can use our Stamparatus the same way. Rounding flowers. Tina, I don't know if I know about rounding flowers. I feel like maybe you need to tell me what that is. Rounding flowers. Oh, yes, I do know what that is. I don't know, I lost, now that I remember. Okay, so you can take that embossing end of your, take your pick tool, and if you had a punch out, like pretend this is a flower, you could lay it down on your either your Stampin' Pierce mat or this little foam mat that comes in the Stamparatus. And if you rub it around in small circles, it will actually make the flower curl up. That's a good, I totally forgot about that, Tina. Maybe I'll have to do a video about that now. Hopefully I'll remember all these ideas you guys are giving me. I'm afraid I won't, but hopefully I will. Okay, so first we're gonna stamp on our pink flower. All right, so we can do this. Well, you know what? I need to line it up in a spot. So I'm going to line it up right here. And then I'm just going to take an ink pen and I'm going to make a little mark right here so that I'll remember what corner I lined it up with. I know, so many ideas. Okay, so we're going to use our For You stamp again. And since I'm going to do more than one, and on the die cuts, I'm going to do it on here again. So I'm going to line that up in the center, close it down, and ink up my stamp. Oh, sorry. Did you guys see the light flash a little bit? I heard the microwave start upstairs. Sometimes our electricity is a little bit funny here. All right, so we'll stamp that one. And now I can put the next one right lined up in that corner. Sometimes using the Stamparatus does really make it go faster, especially if you're doing more than one. And you can just line them up like that. Okay, there's two. And we need 4. I am going to have a few extra pieces left over too, so I'm kind of excited to make something out of those. Okay, here's 3, and then I just need one more. There are so many ideas. That's what I found when I was looking at Pinterest today. Not that I do sometimes sit maybe too long and look at ideas and then not get to putting them into practice, for sure. But I'm working on that. So, okay, there are 4 of those. And I'm going to clean that stamp off real quick, because we need a different one next. Let's see. Okay, so in the original card, they did it like this. If you can see that. Love you more on their next little heart. Well, actually, the middle one's the arrow, right? And then, no, that's not right, is it? No, it's not. Okay. Not sure what I'm doing here. Okay. Here we go back to these. So I am, this time, gonna line mine up on this side. So I'm gonna mark another corner right here. But I don't know where they go. And first we're gonna do the arrow right in the middle. Okay, just like this. Okay, we can pick that up, stamp it, ink it up, I mean, not stamp it. Then our air, oh, let's see, I'm gonna ink it up one more time. That's not quite as clear as I hoped it would be. There we go. I like that better. Okay, so there's 1. I'll try to get a little more ink on there the first time this time. Okay. There's 2. I just have 1 more. Oops. And 4. cute new kits out too. If you haven't checked them out, they're all-inclusive card kits, and they look really good. I'm really tempted to get the birthday one because I feel like I never have enough birthday cards. All right, here we go. Next, we're gonna do let's see. I'm gonna put it back in the same spot, and I'm gonna take the arrow up. And this time we're gonna do, I'm just gonna pull this off for right now. Hopefully I won't lose it. We're gonna do Love You More. So we're gonna put the more down here. And the Love You up above. And now I'm trying to get it in the middle. Hopefully it will. Sometimes those photopolymer stamps will stick to my fingers. I don't know if it's because my fingers are so dry right now because of the winter and all the washing that we currently need to do. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna set those aside. Now I can pick both those stamps up at once and ink them up. And there we go. And now I can stamp each one of those. I'm gonna have to remember that about the flowers. That's a good, giving those flowers shape. That would be a good technique video. I think I got a little quiet there for a minute. I was almost talking to myself. I have to remember that you are here crafting with me. Okay, there's two. Three. And remember, you can take these designs, the designs that come in the paper pumpkin, and substitute whatever you have already to make a card. Sometimes I like to go to Pinterest and look for Mojo Monday sketches. If you ever look for those, it kind of gives you different ideas about how to put your cards together. Because I do tend sometimes to do the same sort of pattern, like the same measurements, the same shapes, the same, and that sometimes that will get you out of a rut a little bit, looking at those card sketches. Okay, there are my stamps. Do I have any more stamping to do for this one? No. So now we can start putting them together. Okay, I'm going to move my stamparatus out of the way. And grab my card. Okay, so here is the first one, and we are going to use a vellum heart first. And we're going to put in front of that one of our little for yous. Okay, so here's our little vellum heart. Here's our for you. So we're going to turn this over. And I will show you how to use your take your pick tool for those little dots. Let's see. I couldn't find my dots that are already open. I know I have them somewhere. Oh, thank you, Tina. I try. Sometimes I don't know if in a video it comes across as easy as it would in person, but I really try. So when I take these off of here, I use this little spatula end and I bend my sheet of dimensionals. I don't know if you can tell that it's bent or not, but then I just slide. If you push on one edge, just a hair with your finger, it kind of pops off. So then you can pick it up and place it where you want it to be. So let's see, bend, push, and slide. And I'll get one more. So bend, push, and slide. Let me see if I can show you that up close so that you can, let's see. So if you're holding them like this and you push it down with your spatula and then just push on the edge, do you see how that kind of pokes up just a little bit from the sheet it's on? That makes it a lot easier to grab it without it rolling up underneath, because that's what you don't want, is a rolled up dot, because then it's really hard to stick down. Everything won't lay flat. And then you can just use, I just use my nail to pick off the, obviously I'm not doing a fantastic job, but I'm trying. That nail was not working. So I use a nail to pick off the back of those. And if it's stuck down really good on your paper, it's much easier to peel off the back. So if you press it down first, like this, then you should be able to peel off the back much easier. All right, so before I lose the end of that little tool, I'm just gonna put its lid back on. I won't lose the end, but I'll lose the lid because it's clear, and anything clear tends to disappear on the table, or it falls off onto the floor and rolls away. So now we're going to put that kind of in the center. You could use your liquid glue to do this too, but they used these little glue dots, and I thought I'd show you what the easiest way for me to use the glue dots is. Then we're going to turn that over and add our Stampin' Dimensionals to the back. Now, you don't want to put them out here on the edge where the vellum is, because you're going to be able to see through that vellum. Unless you don't care about that, but I'm thinking you're going to, because see how if you were to put those behind there, you're definitely going to see them. They're little shadows. All right, so now we're going to stick that in the center of the front. And I don't care as much about the center as that I do that the hearts line up, like the points line up. Okay, now we can open that up, and we're going to work on this side over here. So we need to punch out one of these bigger shape hearts. I think this might be Calypso Coral, the color of this. Let me see if it tells. So if you were ordering extra paper to go with these, you'd want to get Flirty Flamingo let's see, it doesn't say. It says Blushing Bride, Flirty Flamingo, Gold, Granite Gray, Very Vanilla, and White. But I do think this looks like Calypso Coral. Okay. Anyways, back to our project. Sometimes I get a little distracted, even though I'm supposed to not get distracted. Okay. Now this, you could actually keep this for a stencil if you wanted to, but I am not going to do that. I'm just getting rid of mine. I put it right in my paper recycling. Okay, next we're going to punch out this die cut that we already stamped. And I'm going to turn that over. And I'll show you one more time how these little sticky dots work. Mini glue dots probably is what they're called. So if you hold them, they're on a little sheet of acetate, and you can save these little sheets if you want to for other stuff. I don't do that either. I put those right in the recycling too. All right, so you're gonna bend it back and hold the front of that glue dot so that it pops out a little bit. And then you can slide your spatula end right underneath it and pick it up. And then press it down on your paper. So remember to press it down. Press it down. Pressing it down will make it a lot easier to peel off the back. So bend it back, press it down, and slide it under. Then you're going to press it down on your paper. Bend it back, press down with your thumb so that it pops up a little bit, and pick it up, and then just press it down on your paper. Okay, and this time I'm only going to use 3. I think 3 is enough, so I'm only using 3. And then you're just going to take your fingernail and pull off that little piece of paper. Let's see, maybe you could use this if you didn't have fingernails. No, doesn't look to me like that would be a good option. At least I haven't figured it out yet. If I figure out a way, I will let you guys know. Okay, we're gonna turn this over, line it up in the center, and glue it down. And then we can put our Stampin' Dimensionals on the back again. And just peel the backs of those off. They come off much easier than those glue dot backs. All right, and we're going to line that up in the center and glue that down. And now we can add our little, all of a sudden I forgot what they're called, sequins. And you can do the same thing with these sequins as you do with the dots. So you're going to push it back, put your spatula under. If you don't want to just pick them up with your fingers, this can be a lot easier. So we're going to put a couple here on the front, a couple, maybe a few, not a couple. I don't know if you do this, but I think of a couple as 2 and a few as 3, and then some as 4 or more. I don't know if that's anywhere near the actual definition of those things, but that's just how they come up to me in my mind. So a little tiny piece of glittery something stuck on that one. Okay, so there are my sequins for that. And then I'm gonna put a couple more over here. just like that. And then those are ready to go. Now you could also stamp. They showed an option. You can stamp on your envelope. So let's do that real quick. And I'm just gonna fold these up. They don't fold up quite as perfect as I want them to, but they're really cute. So they just open up like this. And I think that's really cute. And then there's the back of them. And here was the first one we made. Whoops. Maybe I did that one wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be a little bit different than that. I don't know. It looks like that in the picture. Maybe I was supposed to fold it different? No, I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, that's the way I did it. And then they took their envelope, and let me grab my stamp back here real quick. Just so that I have I'm actually just gonna use it for a stamping surface. Now to get yours done. I know, sometimes it is hard to get them done. But now that you've seen it done, you'll be more likely to do it yourself. And you can make adjustments for, well, hopefully you won't make the same mistakes I did and get ink all over the place. But at least you've already seen it done once. Okay, so let's try something with this one. We have XO. All right, I'm going to do this. What am I going to do? I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to line it up right here, so that I'm going to mark this top corner right here. Oh, looks like my pen's trying to fall apart a little bit. So that I know where my envelope is. And then I'm gonna put my O and my X sideways like this. And let's see if we can make something work. So one of the things I like about the Stamparatus, this is another thing, is sometimes you can use, I can't remember what it's called, like graduated stamping maybe, or, okay, so I moved it 2 notches up. And I think that's too far. Okay, so let's do this. So if we put it right here, that gives us, oops, sorry guys. It is easier to watch a video first. I think it's kind of fun to do it live. All right, and let's see. But it kind of lets people know that if you do make a mistake, you're not alone in it. We all have mistakes. Okay, so I'm gonna try it and we'll see how close we are. I think it's close enough that it's gonna be good. Okay, so we're gonna ink up our stamp. And I know there's a word for this. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. It's something stamping. Anyways. Okay, and we can stamp our first XO right here. And then we're going to move it up 2 notches. So the bottom one is in the 1, 2, 3rd notch. And then we'll ink it up again. and close it one more time. And I think that actually turned out perfect. So if you do have the stamparatus, you can line up your X and O, and without even moving them, stamp them a second time to make it say XO, XO. And I could have put them closer together or a little farther apart, but that seemed to work. And let's see, I can tell you too how far apart they are. So the O starts at about 1 1/4 here, and the X starts at about 2 1/2. So if you put your X and your O at 1 1/4 and 2 1/2, and your envelope here at 3, that's actually 3, but the paper doesn't measure exactly 1 inch here on the left. That's just what the number says at the top. Then you should be able to get the same, about the same image that I stamped. All right, well, thank you for joining me today for today's paper pumpkin. Here are our cards. I will show you. This is our envelope that we stamped. Turned out really cute. Here is the first card. And it goes like this, and then the back is like that. And these will fit in the envelopes that came with the paper pumpkin kit this month. And here is the other card. So there is this month's paper pumpkin. Next month is, I believe, like a safari theme or an animal theme. So I will come back live again when that one comes in and show you how I put it together. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be looking forward to having you drop by again. Have a great snow day. Bye.